So that's why I think we are going to see the market slow again, because people are going to get another kind of shock of, well, last month I could buy 600. Now I'm down to 550. Yeah. Like what's going on? And that's going to, if less people are able to buy at those higher prices, then we're going to see prices come down. But then I think that's also going to create opportunities for people that have been waiting to be like, wow, we can now get this place at 550, and that's going to start people getting out shopping. And then when people get out shopping and the supply comes off the market, then again, less supply, same demand, it's going to drive prices up.
You're listening to the Ottawa Real Estate Podcast with your hosts, Paul Stevenson, David Warren, and Greg Campbell. Let's see what's going on in the world of real estate today.
Yes. It's always Greg live from his interpretive dance studio. If you're listening, go to the video because you got to see this. We're back. It's the Ottawa Real Estate Podcast. We're buzzing. Another week in the year, another week of interesting developments in the real estate world. My name is Paul Stevenson. I'm joined by Greg Campbell. David Warren, seemingly not with us today. He may slide in. We're not sure. He's traveling, so he's got his hands full from what we understand. So just going to be the two of us, but we got lots to cover, and we're ready.
We're ready.
Greg, tell me about your weekend. I know you had a few things going on.
Yeah, I had a great weekend. I had a DJ. It's a Gaia Fest was on. It's a kind of a spiritual event out at the Gaia Wellness Retreat in Wakefield. So my friends put it together, and one's in charge of kind of like having healing workshops, yoga, amazing food. They have like booths, all sorts of little things going on. And then there's live music, DJ sets and some live music for 2.5 days. It was great. I played on the Saturday afternoon for an hour and a half. It was fun. Lake, sun, people, great energy. And that's what I did.
It was a perfect weekend, actually. Much better than today. I think Friday was supposed to be a disaster, too. I had a similar Friday. I was at a golf tournament for the Boys and Girls Club, the Agnes Sabali Boys and Girls Club. So we were actually doing a fundraiser in memory of a gentleman by the name of Joe Granada. So anyone listening knows Joe. Joe was a huge influence and really helped out the project early on. He actually helped went there in the very beginning, about 12, 13 years ago, built the original basketball court with Jimmy, who kind of runs the nonprofit. And it was just an awesome day. We had, over 140 golfers out, raised tens of thousands. Like, it was just awesome. And the weather just cleared up. Like we were saying, we kind of laughing, saying Joe threw in asked for a favor because it was supposed to be raining all afternoon, thunderstorms. We were worried it might get canceled. And then it just turned out to be just a beautiful, perfect day. So saw some old friends I hadn't seen since college days, which was really nice. Oh, wow. And it was just a great day. On auction was a success. Very happy with some takeaways. And all in all, great day, great weekend. And happy to hear Gaia Fest. And I was disappointed we couldn't make it up there, but it was a full weekend. So we'll be there next year.
Next year we're going to definitely we're going to stay over for the 3 days. We're going to camp and just experience the full, go Friday, Saturday, and come back Sunday night.
That's awesome.
Worth it. It's just, if the weather's right, it's just totally worth it. It's such a beautiful place.
It is. Yeah. Photos look great.
Yeah.
I'm excited as well to announce today that I launched my new website today. So just paulstevenson.ca, very easy to remember. I got some great calculators on there. So anyone listening wants to see, what they pre-approved for or want to get a conversation going, you can just visit that website and reach out and touch me.
You remember the show Read All About It?
No, I don't.
It was like, I don't know, late 70s, early 80s kids show.
Reading Rainbow?
And there was this guy. He was kind of like the bad guy, Dunedin. But when you would see it, it was like it was just his head. It's like, I feel like I'm Dunedin right now. I'm going, Paul, tell us about your mortgage calculators. This look is amazing.
Or the Power Rangers, when they had that, I forget what his name was, at the floating head there they used to talk.
Sure, there's tons of floating heads
lots of floating heads. And now Greg Campbell added to the mix.
That's me. I'm the floating head today.
Real estate this week. We're seeing it. We're seeing it. Things are picking up a little bit. Everyone's heading back to school next week. Labor Day's Monday. And the tide seemingly is shifting slightly. What are you seeing? How do you feel?
You know, I mean, I want to say that regardless of this rate hike, I think September's and October going into Christmas is going to be okay. I think people are going to come back and start shopping again. August has been extremely slow.
Yeah.
Everybody's been enjoying the summer. And I know people are sitting here thinking, waiting for things to get lower. And I'm not saying that they're not necessarily going to drop a little bit more, but if the buyers come back, you know, what happens, you know, it's, I don't think we're going to hit pre-pandemic prices ever. I think we're still going to stay above that. This is my opinion. Obviously I could be wrong. You know, I think that's actually a great way to segue into that question.
Yeah.
What's the question on YouTube?
Yeah. The question was from Donald. He says, another interest hike in September, and you still expect prices to go up this fall. Greg already said if interest rates go up, prices go down and vice versa. How does it even make sense? Make it make sense.
Yeah. So
basically the question.
I am Dunedin. So the way it makes sense is that if the interest rates go up, the prices go down. But if the buyers come back like we expect, then what does that look like? It means that I think the prices will stay the same, or it could push some of them back up again. And it also reflects on our comments where the stalemate is kind of happening now, where sellers are just not having the list price drop to where it was for the people that had to sell in the summer. They had to sell, so they sold for less. But some of these sellers now are just like, there's no way. So they're all kind of, it just seems like there's this collective of sellers that are listing their properties around the same price, and they're just waiting. Now, whether they drop a lot sooner or later, I mean, it could happen, obviously. But I mean, a lot of these people don't have to sell. They might even just list, they might take it off the market if it doesn't sell. They have bottom lines, they have things in mind. So I don't think there's anything really in favor for the buyers here. You know, I think it's going to be the same scenario where the buyers are just going to have to, if they want to buy, they're going to have to buy. If they don't, they don't. Another thing that I'm seeing a massive flux in right now is rentals. I cannot believe the amount of rentals that just came out this week. In Canada alone, dude, 43 new rentals in the last 7 days. In the last week, 43.
And that's what style of home, or all?
That's everything. That's all rentals, but that's 43. So think of this. 43 new rentals in the last 7 days in Canada, 54 total. Of those 11 that are still available, they've all reduced their price, and they've been on the market for an average of about 45 days, those other rentals. So now they're realizing, oh, well, we overshot and now we can't rent with all these new ones coming out, so we have to drop our price.
I have been seeing a lot more for rent realtor signs. Those were, you know, I feel like a couple years ago we saw a few here and there, but now I've definitely noticed it. I was down near my parents' place in Beacon Hill, and I couldn't believe how many there was, just for rent. And I don't know what do you think? What's your thinking behind why people are listing them for rent as opposed to for sale? If that is the case, like if they're holding out, waiting for the market to turn.
Possibly. I mean, if they can carry both properties, you know, keep one as a rental, that, you know, that is a good call. Like, I think that is what's happening. Some of these people are realizing that they can't sell their house for the price that they wanted. So they're renting it and trying to get the most money that they can until the market turns in a couple of years in their favor again, and then they can sell it at what they need, or they maybe just rent it for a year and then sell it. Who knows? But that's definitely a big part of it. I haven't personally dealt with that yet, but I'm sure that there's tons of people doing that right now.
We had a conversation this week too. I had a friend of mine who was asking, it's like, you know, kind of what we said, again, speaking to that question about, you know, interest rates going up and prices coming down and what gives. And, you know, a good way to think about it, I think for buyers too, is if you're going to pay, let's just say an extra $5,000 a year in interest, but you're buying a home that's maybe, in some cases, $50,000 less than it was 6 months ago. So you pay that extra $5,000 a year. So let's just say it's an additional $25,000 over the 5 years. I won't say it's a guarantee, but there's a very strong likelihood that your home is going to go up more than that 25,000 over those 5 years. So
Sure.
the extra money you're paying now in interest, the home is going to appreciate. Like if the prices start to come back up again, you might be concerned, well, we're going to be paying an extra $200-$300 a month, whatever that is. But if the home is going to increase in value, let's just say another 50,000 over the next 5 years, hypothetically, even 25, even if it's a break even, it's just, I think people see the high interest rates, they get scared. They see prices coming back up, they're going to get scared, or at least maybe hesitant. And it's one of those things, like we've been saying, if it's a good, like if you have to buy a home, buy one, but certainly don't try to time the market. I released an article today. I'd encourage people to look it up on my website, actually, paulstevenson.ca, to plug it again. But if you go to my LinkedIn too, I posted an article there just talking about like the trying to time the market, any market, whether it be an investment market or the real estate market, is near impossible to get it right at the bottom. You can be, you can have all the knowledge in the world and have millions of followers listening to your advice, and you're still not going to time it perfectly. There's no way to actually time the market perfectly. So look at the numbers, look at the stats. This is the first dip we've seen in however many years. And we keep saying it. And I think, Greg, there was an article you saw recently that actually kind of, parroted everything that we have been saying, that this is one of like a very good opportunity to buy. Prices are low. The supply is very likely going to get scarce again in the winter. There's still going to be a lot of demand. Interest rates are likely going to go up, if not guaranteed to go up in September, and probably next week, a week and a half.
We'll know.
On the 8th, we'll know. I think that is going to drive prices up. I think it's definitely going to drive rates up for sure. Well, we'll increase rates, which I think is going to slow demand temporarily. But I would say October, November, I think we're going to see things start to increase again. And I think we're coming very much to the bottom of the barrel as far as the prices. And again, I don't have a crystal ball. Greg, I know you do. But
I do. Thank you, Paul, for the crystal ball.
But I do think that the rising interest rates is going to be one of those things that the last one being increasing by a full percent, I think was a big shock. And I think it really made people analyze, what does that actually mean for me, this increased interest rate? How is this going to impact me? So I think the next one, if it's a 0.5%, even 0.75%, I don't think it's going to have as much of a shock factor for people. So I don't think it's going to have as much of a dip, but I do think the market will dip slightly. And then I think we'll see it start to come up again, kind of October, November. And then in the new year, I think January, we're going to see a big explosion again. And again, I can't guarantee it, but that's just my feeling based on the last couple of years of how the market has gone. I think after the holidays, come January, we're going to see prices go up. And I think 2023 is going to be a very strong year for increased values, just because of, again, if we can get through the fall without taking a step back from the health concerns. Just don't want the video to get flagged. So the health concerns that could come in the fall. I think we should be good in January. That's what I think.
And it's true. That's a whole other thing. Like, I talk to people sometimes and they're still convinced that this is just the beginning of like the end of money, basically. Like, real estate is done. The markets are done. And then, the people with the money are going to come in and buy up everything, putting home buyers, even further out of reach, because they just can't afford anything because of like some massive recession that comes. And you know what I mean? It's all, you look at cycles, you can think theory, you can hypothesize all sorts of stuff. But the bottom line is, like, we're here right now. We're pretty accurate in the things that we've been predicting as times have changed. Of course, as we say, we always tell people that we do not have that crystal ball. But I'm with you on what you're saying here, Paul. Like, if it just, the way that it seems to be going is exactly what you're saying, I agree with it 100%.
And what does that mean for the market, I guess? Right? If that happens, like what all the people that are sitting on the side, all the buyers that are waiting. And I know I've I've talked to people that have actually said that exact term, like we're sitting on the sidelines. Like that is the verbiage they're using. I'm not making that up myself. Like that is them saying we're sitting on the sideline. We're going to wait and see what happens. And then the thing is, once things start to come up again, they're not going to take action right away, likely, right? They're going to wait a while. And then if prices get out of hand, then they're not going to be able to buy. So yeah, I don't know. I mean, I feel like we kind of talk in circles. It seems like the same conversation we have every week. So I apologize to our listeners for that, but it is, I mean, it's a very interesting market right now. Like typically there's a lot of things that are coming about. I had a lot of clients reaching out, we're renewing next year. Where are rates going? Renewing kind of, October, November of 2023 and wondering like, should we be breaking now? Should we be waiting? There's a lot of uncertainty for anyone in that situation. I might as well, for our listeners who are in that situation, if you're in a variable rate right now, I would say, well, actually, if you're in any rate right now, depending on if you're renewing end of next year, I would say it's best right now to hold the course. Like the very strong likelihood is that we will see rates come down again next year. We've seen fixed rates come down slightly with the Canadian mortgage bond decreasing. Variable rates are going to go up again in September, as we just discussed. But I think that'll be the last rate hike. I think after the next one, I think they've seen inflation tame slightly with the most recent hike. I think this one is going to bring it to a standstill as well. I think it'll slow the market even further temporarily, as I mentioned. And then I think we're going to see rates balance out. I think fixed rates will actually come down, which will then also make a lot of people flood into fixed rates, which I think will then also help bring the variable rates down in the coming 12 months. So if you're renewing end of next year, like I would just hold the course and see where things lay, because I think we're going to see rates come down next year.
Let me ask you this, Paul. So if you've got people coming to you for a rate right now, like say that new client that we're both working with here, they come to you, they need a new rate, and that's a 120-day hold on that rate, correct?
No. So that is actually a pretty common misconception. So we can do it. Yes, we can lock in the rate. Most lenders will actually premium the rate if we do that. So if you could get a contract rate of say 4.5, they'll say, yeah, we'll give you a pre-approval, but we're going to lock it in, at 4.85 or 4.9 or whatever. Right. So you're not getting the actual rate that you'd be getting on the contract most of the time. Also on top of that, the pre-approval we do compared to the bank, our pre-approval, so long as there's no financial like material change. So if you change jobs or you get a new car loan or you take on a large amount of debt, that is obviously going to impact your pre-approval. But assuming you're in the same job, nothing's changed, no new debts, et cetera, your pre-approval is essentially good indefinitely. Like it's not going to change that much. The one thing that does change it is when rates change. So for example, September 8th, if variable rates go up again, then anyone who's been pre-approved in a variable rate, we have to now basically pre-approve them because
in a variable rate. But if they get a hold on a fixed rate, that'll stay
for 120 days. So as a broker, we have obviously a multitude of lenders. So if we want to lock it in for pre-approval, we have to send it to one specific lender. So I'd have to send it to Bank ABC, and then Bank ABC is the only one holding that rate. So if rates go up, yes, we can still hold that rate, but you have to then go to that lender, right? So
and whatever the terms are of that lender.
Exactly. And as mentioned, most of them will actually add a bit of a premium, whether it be 0.25% or anything to kind of build in a buffer so that if rates do go up, they're not getting stuck with that bag. So I mean, to answer your question, Greg, like the biggest impact is going to be in September. Anyone we're pre-approving right now, again, I know we've dealt with a few clients this week in the last week, when I pre-approve someone based on a variable rate, I have to do essentially two pre-approvals, one for variable rate, one for fixed rate. And then we have to look at, we have to pre-approve them based on a qualifying rate of 2% higher than what their actual rate is going to be. So for fixed rates, we're pre-approving them at 6.6, somewhere in there right now, 6.5, 6.6. And then on the variable rates, we're still looking at 5.8, somewhere in that range, 5.8 to 6%. So if variable rates go up another 0.5%, then that 5.8 is now going to be 6.3, 6.5. So we're going to be pre-approving people at a higher rate. And if the rate's higher, that means their payment's higher from a qualifying standpoint, which means that their buying power decreases. So that's why I think we are going to see the market slow again, because people are going to get another kind of shock of, well, last month I could buy 600. Now I'm down to 550. Like what's going on? And that's going to, if less people are able to buy at those higher prices, then we're going to see prices come down. But then I think that's also going to create opportunities for people that have been waiting to be like, wow, we can now get this place at 550, and that's going to start people getting out shopping. And then when people get out shopping and the supply comes off the market, then again, less supply, same demand, it's going to drive prices up again. So
I think that people are over that shock, like you said. I think we're over the initial shock. So I think even the next bump, I don't think it's going to have as big of an impact as the last one did.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's going to be like, I think people are expecting it. And I like you said, it might slow it for a minute, but it's just going to be a recalibration. Not like we've been seeing this summer. I mean, everybody's just been out doing their thing. So I think even like my clients that I'm working with that are waiting, I'm like, I know they're going to be going back to whoever they're working with and getting a next pre-approval. But they're pretty much ready to go on whatever that is. And if that's me with my guys, I mean, we're not the only people buying, right?
Yes. Well, like you said, I think you said maybe a month or so ago, you're like, if I have 4 to 6 clients that are all sitting on the sideline waiting, but still ready to shop, and every realtor in the city is doing that, there's a lot that's
insane.
Yeah. There's insane, a lot of clients waiting, keeping their eye on things, seeing where prices go, waiting to pull the trigger. And everyone's going to have the same idea. Like everyone's going to come flooding back at the same time, I believe. And that's going to just, like we said, a lot of people start buying, multiple offers, drives prices up.
And then keep the prices where they are, man.
Yeah.
This additional drop of 10-15%, I don't know. It's the bigger markets. They always talk, it's Toronto and Vancouver that they always talk about. So Ottawa's a different ballgame. But in this article, it's pretty cool what they say in the Canadian press. Like, it's welcome news. The market, hold on, let me just go back here. After fueling, blah, blah, blah. Real estate is showing signs of weakness as home prices fall and bidding wars dissipate. We all know that. That's old news. It's welcome news for prospective buyers hoping for a better price. But as the busy fall season nears, oh, right. So it doesn't slow down in the summer, right? No, that doesn't happen. As the busy fall season nears, as the Canadian press is saying, as we say on Torep, realtors and economists are at odds over how long the pricing slide will last and how low it will go.
Mm-hmm.
The fall is going to be interesting because we're going to see probably more buyers jumping into the market, and you don't need a ton more buyers to provide a little bit more stability to prices. There we go. It's like you said, Paul, they've been watching Torep and now they're quoting us without giving us credit, basically, right? This is the Canadian press.
Could be
just a little bump in demand could be the difference between home selling in 3-4 weeks versus selling in 2 weeks or selling a lot faster.
Well, that's the other thing too. You've been talking about 35 days on market. Like, if you have more people out there shopping, that 35 can easily become 25, 20, like it can drop. But I don't think we're going to see, that 5 days on market or whatever that was happening in January 2020,
no,
2021. That was a complete anomaly. But even going down to 20 or 25, I mean, that makes a massive difference to the way people are negotiating and prices and everything else.
We finally hit like 36 days on market average in the suburbs right now.
Can you give it? Yeah. Do you have the stats there for the?
Yeah, I've got some like rough stats here. Like Orleans is the highest, 43 days on market. And that's for all product across the board. So I'm talking like low, like condos, condo towns, detached, everything. I just did kind of like a broad perspective here. So we've got the average list sales price in Orleans right now is $635,000, 43 days on market. Canada Stittsville, 31 days on market, 721,000 is the average. So Canada, as usual, is the highest. That's not going to change. Parhaven average 33 days on market, 658,000 average. So, that's where we're at right now. And I think those are good numbers. Those are good averages. And for it to go much lower than that, I don't know, man. I don't think it's going to drop much more than that. I think, Canada Stittsville might hit the 700,000. They may go a little bit lower than that, but I mean, to hit below 600 for any of these, I think is wishful thinking. It's possible, but I just can't see it as an average. That's my opinion anyways.
Says the talking head.
Says the talking head.
This is a big deal coming up though. Today we went Gretzky. As I said last week, we're going Gretzky. Episode 99.
Correct.
Next week is episode 100, which is pretty awesome. I know we've been doing this for over 5 years now, which is mind blowing. And to think we used to do this in person is even more hilarious.
But let's be honest though, Paul. We've been really doing this aggressively for about
2 years.
2 years.
2 years. Yeah. 2 years. 50 weeks to be exact.
50 weeks.
No. Yeah, 100 weeks. Wow, I'm wrong. I'm thinking 52 weeks in the
year.
My
math is terrible. I don't even.
Good at numbers, this guy. Good at numbers. Call me for a mortgage. 100 episodes next week. So we're actually going to do something a little different. We're going to go back to the live like we did a couple weeks ago.
Love it.
Live 7 p.m. on YouTube. We're going to do a live Q&A. We're hoping Dave's going to join us from his vacation. If not, it'll be Greg and I. We'll have both sides covered. Live Q&A, 7 p.m. on YouTube. And if you go to the YouTube page, just literally type in the Ottawa Real Estate Podcast if you're not already watching there. If you subscribe, then you'll be notified when we do go live. So if you're like me and you forget things on Mondays, sometimes it's nice to have that reminder. And if you haven't already, leave us a review and subscribe and comment and so on. We love the comments. It's great. It gives us good questions to answer. And sometimes, it is some weeks, as we said, August has been pretty slow. So these sorts of questions that, when we say something, it sparks an idea inside your head. We want to hear that and we can certainly expand on it. And sometimes, obviously, we're not perfect. We try to explain something and it might seem really clear and obvious to us. And as a listener, you might have absolutely, we might confuse you even more than we're educating you. So we want to make sure that you're being properly educated and we are offering you knowledge. Knowledge
is power. Knowledge is king.
Yeah.
Deliver it on the toe rep. on the toe rep.
On the toe rep.
Ottawa Real Estate Podcast. I'm pumped for the live. I'm pumped for the live stream. I love it. I think the interaction is amazing. I feel that we should do a giveaway of some kind.
I was thinking that too. Yeah, I was actually thinking that when I was running the other day. I was thinking either a gift card giveaway, some sort of, or even just a cash prize. I was thinking something, and listeners too, give us your comments on this. I was thinking if you comment on the video or if you ask a question during the live show, we'll basically assign a number to your name. We'll do a random draw live on the screen so you can see what your number is, who you are.
You know what?
And then we'll give it away on the show live.
I know what the prize is.
What is it?
The prize is dinner with Greg and Paul.
That would be amazing. I'm in.
That would be amazing.
Yeah, a dinner with out with Torah.
And we get two winners. Yeah, two names drawn. Dinner with Greg and Paul. At Whalesbone. That sounds great. I'll be there. That's awesome. So thanks again to our listeners. Tune in next week, Monday, 7 p.m. live on YouTube. We're going to do a Q&A. We're hoping Dave's going to join us. I know he is away and he's actually a few hours ahead, so it's going to be challenging, but we're going to try to twist his arm, get him on here. It'd be great to have all three of us on it'd be great to have all three of us on the 100th episode. And big thank, this is a big milestone for us as well. And we just want to say big thanks to Stephen Hopkins and to all our listeners for getting us to this point. Be sure to subscribe. You'll get the notification. Be sure to check out my new website. Did you know I had a new website, Greg? I heard about that. I heard about that.
And that's it. That's it for this week. We'll be back next week live.
Do we have mood boosts today, or we no mood boosts?
We do have mood boosts.
Okay.
Completely forgot about them though.
I was like, wait a minute.
I'm forgetting something. We usually do something at the end here. So number one, what kind of bird doesn't know the words to their own song? A hummingbird.
Mm-hmm.
Number two, I was told there was a shark attack today. Scary. The shark took out his whole left side. I couldn't believe it when they told me he was all right.
Yes. Yes.
And number 3, I thought I'd won the argument with my wife as to how to arrange the dining room furniture. But when I got home, the tables were turned.
A
few puns today. A few puns. Shout out to North Brew Coffee. Go to northbrew.ca. Use the promo code podcast. They're going to give you 20% off your coffee order. And 20% of your order goes towards helping the Ottawa homeless community. So great coffee, great cause. We'll see you next week, live, Monday, 7 p.m., YouTube, Toe Rep, Greg Campbell, Paul Stevenson, David Warren. See you later.
Thanks for tuning in, everyone. We hope you enjoyed today's episode. Please remember to like, share, comment, and subscribe because we'd really like that.